trying to understand, comprehend, intellectualize, analyze, and so on is up here in the head. Mental awareness, center of mental awareness, head. Center of emotional awareness, heart. Center of physical awareness, belly. Very important place. We need to be in our belly so that we can feel through our heart and our brains, so our mental awareness can take care of the details. The head is it's like the secretary. The head is just there to take care of the details and get stuff done. But most of us, most of the time, because of our conditioning and because of the disastrous state that our society is in, live in our heads. And that's, to me that kind of explains that old saying that we only use about 5% or 10% of our brain. I think the truth is not that we only use 5% or 10% of our brain, but we only use 5 or 10% of our total being. So what you have to recognize, George and anyone else that this resonates with, is that in order to live the experience of bliss, in order to live love, in order to live consciousness, to live divine or godly experience of life, we simply have to be who we are. Nothing more and nothing less. And if something is pulling us out of that state, we have to recognize that there's a reason for that. To me, the answer is very, very simple. Trauma. And by trauma, I don't mean a big car accident or a serious abuse. Trauma can be very subtle. It can be, and this is the most common, which most of us experience, it can be that our parents were not available and didn't give us attention in the way that we needed when we were children. They might not have been present physically and they might not have been present emotionally. And that probably made us feel a sense of emptiness and unworthiness deep inside. And what happens when we experience trauma is that we feel it deep within us, in our heart, in our belly, in the deeper centers of our being. The head does not feel trauma. The head doesn't care about trauma. Jai! Dobro. Nic nie było. Dobro. Živijo. Ja. Samo glasba je. Jai, sem. Ajde, gremo. Jai! Sem! Hej! Head does not experience trauma. Where we experience trauma, when we feel the threat that comes with trauma, the threat to our being, it's in our being, it's in our heart, it's in our belly, it's in the deeper centers of our being. And what happens when we begin to really embody the totality of our being, in other words, when we begin to experience bliss, the traumas begin to be activated again and we begin to feel those blockages that were caused by trauma. So what's happening is perfectly normal. An awakening is happening, and as more light is shed into the subconscious mind, those dark, shadowy areas are not very pleasant, they don't feel good, and so the ego is pulling us back out of them, really trying to protect us. Probably there's an association there for you, George, and maybe for many other people, between control and safety and being in the head, analyzing, thinking, and so on. So I acknowledge the subconscious association between the intellect, the mental awareness, and safety. And my advice is heal the trauma. I studied many different spiritual practices and spiritual traditions and different kinds of personal development, meditation and so on. And I still do because I very much enjoy them. And I find that they broaden and deepen my experience of life. But after 20 years of doing that, I was still quite stuck. My progress was very slow. When I began effectively healing trauma, very quickly, very quickly, I found myself very free of all of the kind of blockages and feelings of being stuck and in my head and so on that had held me back until then. So that's my answer to the question, and that's my advice. And again, I hope it's of value. And if you have any more questions, please send them to me. Let me know. I love questions. All questions are good questions, as far as I'm concerned. And thanks for listening. Bye.